Hey family, it's lovely April day. You know what they say, about April showers and May flowers? So let's look at these April showers out here today. It, what? It's April!
Hey folks, ThriceRisen here with something of an update. If you ever think you have too many miniatures, well, you might. That is entirely possible that you have too many miniatures, but I am right there with you. I won't say this is my whole collection because that is completely not true. This is the collection of miniatures that are, strictly speaking, assembled. So that can count from anything from one of these models that come just as one piece, or to a larger multi-part kit. So these are all the assembled models in our collection. Some of these, the Tyranids in particular, the Eldar, you see going back up there, those belong to my wife, the Duchess Venom. The Space Marines, of course, are all mine. And the vehicles in the back are all mine. And towards the back here we have a lot of miniatures used for role-playing, such as like Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder. We have my slowly growing Gatorman force. But yeah, these are strictly speaking the assembled miniatures. So this does not include anything that is like missing an arm, or isn't assembled, is still in a box on a sprue on the painting desk in pieces, that sort of thing. These models are assembled. Now, there might be one or two that have like a missing piece. One of the models actually lost a little tassel as I was setting it up, so things like that I'm ignoring, but things that are basically assembled. So yeah, this is the collection. As you can see, we bought the I want to call it Duels of Planeswalkers, the Magic the Gathering board game sets. Mainly because it was a large amount of minis for only $10, so it was a great deal. CAD for internet points. So yeah, just kind of showing off the collection. There's a lot more than this. I'd say if we counted the non-assembled models that are in boxes, we'd increase this table. We'd need another table. And I thought I was actually going to need 2 tables, That's why I broke out this table, and you can see already there's some Tyranids that don't have heads. There's some Space Marines that are damaged, and I didn't include any terrain or scatter pieces. It's just models in the form of a creature or a person. One or two tiny exceptions, like we've got a gun platform there, but that is a unit in a game, so I counted that. So some of the standout models here, we have Raging Heroes, Necropriestess Nefaria, Bloody Barnabas from Privateer Press, a really cool water elemental from Cadwallon, or however it's pronounced. You see here some of the Reaper anniversary miniatures. There's a Corvo Dishonored miniature there. All the way over here we have miniatures of the player characters in the Leviathan Saga. We have, starting over here on the far left, Eric Grimfinesh, Eric the Cleric. The player no longer plays in the campaign, but he had a miniature, so there it is. We have these two female models here. The one in the back is the first version of the character, and the one in the front is the current version, Eris Tess Locke and her Eidolon Revenant. We have Vincent Kirkland Mithrelbore, the Duke of that sandwich. We have Hiram Q. Tok, an alchemist. We have Bothier Vicelisharith, a gunslinger rogue. His right-hand man, Raynor. Everyone's favorite love-hate NPC, Kalthus Wren, in the green here with his arms out. Everyone's most hated, or one of their most hated NPCs, the bureaucrat, Pontius Walger. We have Lark Skyrend, pilot and artificer. Curtis Colt, a gunsmith. Back here, right behind Curtis, we have the Sovereign of the City, Phelan de Winter, the Countess. These two models here are the Willems, the identical ones you see there. Who else do we have? We have, right here with the blue shoulders, a Hellwright, a Marcus Hellwright miniature. That's not what the actual miniature is, it's the character that was in the campaign. It's actually an underboss from Kador's K as the Assassins, I think. But it was a Marcus Hellwright miniature that never got a chance to be used because the character died. The NPC died before the miniature could be completed. Who else we got? We have, right here, this is a Bartolo, Captain Bart, I think from Privateer Press. Missing the hat. The hat was used for something else, but that's another NPC, used as another NPC in the campaign. Bunch of villagers, random guards and enemies. Moving up, we got, as I said, all these magic, the Gathering miniatures. They're not too bad. They're, for the money, pretty good. Warp Spiders, Rangers, and the like. A couple, Legion of Everblight models. Now, one thing to mention about Legion of Everblight is my wife, Duchess Venom, actually has a very large Everblight army, but they are wrapped up very carefully, and I did not want to unwrap them and risk damaging them. The paint job on them is phenomenal, so I'm not going to open them up and put them out here because it, A, just couldn't be bothered, B, so that's like the one part of the collection that is not out here, but she has enough to fill easily what's left of space on this table, and probably a bit more because she's got two more Angelius, another Typhon, a bunch of stuff. So that's not out here. That's the exclusion, if you will. We've got some of my fun 40k models right here. We have Boris. That is his missile launcher. He's got two power fists that serve as a missile launcher. He doesn't actually have the power fist equipped. Those are his missile launcher. He uses them to throw giant shells. That's the Kit Bash. One of my favorite Kit Bashes that I've made. A little tiny bit of Mechanicus. A little bit. Moving along, got a Vindicare Assassin, some Primaris Marines, Njal Stormcaller, the half-painted Terminators. This model we didn't make. It was a donation from a friend of mine named Mike. He didn't have a use for it anymore, and it's really cool. So it's kind of just a shelf piece. Again, a model that wasn't painted by us, this Avatar of Cain. It's pretty good. It's alright. The sword bent, that's why it has the paint chipped off there. More Eldar, more things. Hey, look. Planeswalkers. Some monsters. We got an owlbear, a mimic, rust monster. You know, the classics. Right there in the front, the silver mini, that's Van Drake from the campaign of the Leviathan Saga. Dodging all these Wraith Knights here. Fun things back here, including this guy, the Purple Worm, Sparky, as he is known to my players. So yeah, this is the collection. Oh, you can see very fluorescent there, a gelatinous cube. But yeah, this is the collection. Thought you might find it interesting. Yeah. Mine's empty, so I'm going to turn off the sound. This is ThriceRisen. Thanks for watching. A quick addendum. You'll notice most of the models are not on the table anymore. So what are these that I have left in this weird staggered pattern? I've tried to just pluck all the ones I didn't want to show you off. These are the models out of that whole spread that you saw before that I would consider painted enough to use in a role-playing game on the tabletop, or I'd consider it done enough to where I wouldn't worry too much about putting more paint on it. Some of these models are half complete, like these, but they still look pretty good. Some of the models are pretty done, like this Vindicare Assassin. Some of them are kind of just old paint, but there's enough variation in color to where they could pass as something decently well. Same goes for those guys there. These here. And then of course some, like this, are just done. They're masterfully executed. They're complete. There's nothing more that needs to be done to them. And they're ready for tabletop play. Or they're a pre-painted model like this that I'm not going to worry about adding anything else to. You notice I took away the pre-painted Planeswalkers? It's because their paint job, in my straight estimation, is not good enough for show. It's severely lacking. It is even below the quality of these old D&D miniatures, in my estimation. Some of the old D&D miniatures, their paint job is quite passable. Like this Shard Soul Slayer here, that's pretty alright. And then as you get newer, like these Terror Birds, that's actually pretty good. Now some of them are a little weird, or a little two-tone, like these rogues here, or three-tone, but they still work. And that's kind of the criterion that I judge the minis by, is like, are they at least this good? Do they have at least enough detail to pass? And so in that case, these are the models of the collection that meet those criteria. All the ones that don't are over here. Now, before you panic, these were all carefully piled up. I didn't just toss them there. They're carefully piled. But this is all the unpainted excess. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of it. So don't feel bad if you have a lot of unpainted models. These are the assembled unpainted models. Doesn't even count the stuff that's still in boxes, the stuff that is half assembled, or on the painting desk at the moment. So yeah, this is what's left. And if I was to remove the pre-painted minis, and like these, if I was to take those off, it would cut down a lot. And if I was to leave behind the models that I considered pretty much completely finished, things of like this quality here, focus, this quality there, okay, or maybe like these wizards back here, stuff that looks really good, there'd be a handful of models on the table. Most of this would be gone. In fact, let me just do that real quick and I'll show you. And here they are. These are the miniatures that I would consider done. So we have this squad here. Again, the paint job was old when we got it, but my wife touched it up, added some washes and stuff, and they look pretty good. I'm not gonna care if they're not crazily super detailed and I can't like count the thread count on this guy's eyebrows. Because it's just a squad of dudes. I'm not going to care that much. This, I believe, is a model that my wife considered mostly done at the time. I think she probably wants to go back and brush up on them. Brush up. Another model, older. Of course, that one done up by my friend. That one, I don't know who did it, but it was obtained. That one was purchased like this. It's not too bad. And then we have the Rust Monster here. And this is the quality that I would hold to minis that are complete. So it's mostly this row of heroes for the campaign. And a couple things. Let me get some of the Gatorman. This miniature right there. Next to it with the two knives. It's an old Anima Tactics miniature, Kyler, that I'm using as my character in Rise of the Rune Lords. And some of these completed miniatures here. Those slimes, they're slimes, don't need to worry about them at all that much. So, these are the quote-unquote miniatures that are completely done in all respects. Now, there's a small stash over here, that are done with an asterisk. A lot of these need touch-ups or basing, or like just a little bit more and they'd be considered done. There's all the pre-built D&D miniatures here, and then the chaff over here. So, don't feel bad if you have a lot of unpainted miniatures. It happens to everyone. Alright, ThriceRisen, that's me. Thanks for watching.